Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today we are back on, I'm pointing over there but you can't see it on the ramp, back on the D7. We're going to finish off the servicing, the bit of D7 maintenance that I started in the last video. So oil change and some other bits and pieces that we need to do just to make sure that it remains ready to go over the winter months, and also to make sure that, you know, if it is just sitting in here in storage, it's not deteriorating. So let's get on and do some work. Right, we're going to drop the oil, the gearbox oil. So I've moved the speedo cable out of the way, just pushed him out of the way because it tends to get drenched in oil otherwise. Loosened up the filler so we can get some air running in there to help the oil to come out. Obviously we don't want to vacuum lock it. And I have warmed up the engine. I've given it a bit of a just let it idle on the driveway, just warm it up a little bit just to ease the passage, if you like, and make sure that we get all the dirt. You know, if there's any dirt trapped in there, hopefully the hot oil will flush it out. And I've cleaned the plastic tub as well, because I do like to have a look at the oil when it comes out, just to see if there's anything in there that might be worrying to us. In my day job, of course, oil is not just oil, it's evidence, and we always look very closely at oil coming out of aircraft. Various different types of analysis that we do, particularly on helicopters. Helicopter gearboxes are something that we like to keep a close eye on. There we go. Yeah, the oil tells us an awful lot. You do spectral analysis to have a look for particles. Okay. But we're not going to be doing that here, obviously, because we don't have the facilities. But we will have a look at it, see if it's sparkly. And they don't have a magnet on these, but they do have a little trap. I don't know if you can see that. They have a little trap in the sump plug for heavier particles to drop into. Can't see anything, but we'll get in there and give it a clean out once the oil's drained. Always have some blue roll or whatever it is that you use in your workshop on hot standby, because if you don't have it, it will spill everywhere. Right, we'll give that a few moments to drain off properly, and I will bring you back, because watching oil drain out of a sump is probably not the most exciting thing in the world. Right, all the oil is drained out. The good thing about these kind of tubs is you can pan for gold. We're just having a look now to see if there's any bits, any flakes. We're not talking about crumbly milk chocolate, we're talking about metal flakes. So there is a little bit of shiny in there, but we have had some new gearbox components, so we can expect a little bit of running in debris. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything nasty, no big chunks or anything like that, so we can get rid of that. Let's have a look at the sump plug. Move that out of the way, because it's destined to want to tip all over the place. So I really need a cotton bud. I haven't got one. I think they're called Q-tips in some parts of the world. Kind of thing you clean your lugs out with. But I haven't got one, so we'll just make do with what we have got. which is a bit of workshop roll. Let's have a look in there. Yeah, don't know if you're picking that up, there are some flakes in there, slightly larger flakes. So we can monitor that, can't we? We're still, you know, we'll probably get a few more of those as the thing runs in, but if we're still getting them, you know, a couple of oil changes down the road, then we may have to think about it. But I think it is just running in debris, just normal wear and tear. So we'll put that back in now that I've cleaned it out, and we'll get some fresh oil. Okie doke, time to put some oil back in, and this is what we're using. I'm sure you're probably, you know, it doesn't come as a surprise. You know me, I like the rock oil, and the classic range is very good, so I'm going to use some of this Rock Oil Classic SAE 40 monograde. So that's what we'll be putting in. And if you are a social media type, if you're on Instagram or something like that, go on to Instagram and look up Rock Oil News, or look up retro_meccanica, and you'll find a little thing that Rock Oil did about my channel, and they were very kind and mentioned the channel and put a photograph of the workshop on there, and gave us a bit of a plug and a bit of endorsement for using their products. So thank you, Rock Oil. And they mentioned the 30 plus years that I've been using their products. I've been using their products since 1989 now, so yeah, that was good of them, I thought. So yeah, go and have a look at that. And the workbench is featured, so I'm hoping that it, you know, doesn't turn into a bit of a diva now that it's famous, and you know, I expect all kinds of niceties, but hopefully not. Anyway, let's put some oil in the beast. Got a new jug as well. Look, the old one, all the numbers had completely come off. It was a super cheap one, and yeah, went like that, and all the numbers came off with my thumb. But this one is made in Germany, and it looks like a good one, so hopefully the numbers will last a bit longer on this one. And how much oil do we need to put in? Well, we need to put in 425 cc's of oil, and if you have a Bantam and you're not sure of how much oil to put in and what oil to use and how to do a servicing and all that kind of stuff, a very good publication, I mean out of print now but you can get them second hand, is this. The book of the BSA Bantam by W.C. Haycraft, published by Pitman's. And if you go on eBay or Amazon or your favoured second-hand bookseller, you will no doubt find a copy of this book. And Haycraft was a very prolific author and journalist in the motorcycling world. I think he worked for the Motorcycle magazine back in the 50s and 60s, and yeah, he wrote a lot of these sort of owner's guidebooks for various bikes, and they're very good, packed with information. And he wrote them to serve as an owner's manual for people that, you know, maybe bought a second-hand bike and it didn't come with an owner's manual, or to supplement the original owner's manual. But yeah, very good, worth picking up. Right, so we need to get some oil in, don't we? What did I say? 425, didn't I? So let's get some in here. I'll stick it on the level in a minute for fine tuning, but it tends to come out a bit fast at first, doesn't it? But it does for me anyway. Yeah, it's alright. So put that in, we'll let it settle, and then we'll use the dipstick. Should have got some blue rolls. I'll grab some of that in a minute. I'm bound to spill it. Don't overfill. Is my advice on a Bantam. You want to be just up to the mark on the dipstick. So I'm not going to put all this oil in. I'm going to put nearly all of it in and then check it with the dipstick. Because if you put too much in, you tend to find that it hoofs out through the clutch push rod on the sprocket side. You end up with a self-lubricating chain and a self-lubricating driveway and a self-lubricating garage floor. So yeah, best not to overfill them. Just up to the mark on the dipstick, and you're good to go. Something rather therapeutic about watching oil go down a funnel. Maybe not for you watching it on your TV or on your phone or whatever. But, if you can hear any background noise, it'll be the heater, the heating on, because it is proper winter now here. That's a minus 6 degree Celsius nights. Haven't had any snow yet. We've got a few snowflakes sort of fluttering about, but certainly where I am, we haven't had any snow settling. Right, we'll just leave it at that. Grab some roll and check the dipstick. Yeah, proper cold now. But, we are getting towards, well, we are at the end of November, so you can expect it really, can't you? Sure that's clean, we're not introducing any nastiness into the gearbox. Do that again. Needs a drop more. It's quite hard to see brand new oil on the dipstick because it's almost translucent. Of course, I'm guddling oil all over the place. Standard. Yep, spot on. So what's left, I use to top up my oil can, and then I can, I know that I'm using a good quality oil in my oil can as well. clean out because we're going to need that jug for the fork oil as well. So we'll get rid of these for a moment. Make sure you've got your fibre washer underneath your filler plug dipstick combination. Just give it a little nip. Make sure I tighten up the sub plug. Yes, it did. A bit late now, isn't it? Probably a good idea to check that before you put the oil in. Right, that's the gearbox service done, and we can move on to the next job. Right, I've had a bit of a clean up because whenever I do an oil change it always seems to end up everywhere for some reason. We're going to do the forks now, so let me just get you in a position where you can see. So the first thing we need to do is open up the top of the forks so that we can first of all let the air in there to drain the oil out at the bottom and also give us somewhere to put the new oil in. So you need a screwdriver, a slim screwdriver. Just lift out the cap at the top, little cover. It's metal, sort of springy chrome thing. Just finishes the top of the forks off, makes them look nice. Then you need a 3/16 Whitworth socket. And you're going to remove the camera on somewhere. You're going to remove the nut that secures the spring rod. If you don't remove that, you can't get the top of the forks off, the fork cap. That comes out. There is a washer in there, but that will come out when we take the fork cap off. And then you need a socket to remove the fork cap. It'll be a Whitworth size. I haven't got the appropriate socket, but I find a 1-inch AF socket does the job. But as long as they're not too tight, you don't want to go rounding them off. And that comes out and you can see the top of the spring rod there. Probably just hear me rattling the spring around. So yeah, there is a serrated washer in there, so we'll put that in the magnet tray, make sure we don't lose it. And then that's pretty much it for this end. That's where we're going to pour the oil in. We'll raise the ramp back up. We may have to adjust you again. We've got to remove the mudguard stay, because the mudguard, the centre bolt on the mudguard stay is also the drain plug on these D7 forks. We'll get it up to a workable height. Oh, taking the gas tube off the welder with us. There we go. Excuse me, getting in your way. What are you seeing now? Oh, not bad. There you go. A bit better. Now I'm probably going to get in your way a bit, I do apologise. So these are supposed to be 3/16 Whitworth, but they're not. Not on this bike at least. They are metric. Someone's put metric fasteners on, and I haven't got around to changing them, or maybe I won't bother to do the job. But you often find that with old bikes. People have replaced nuts and bolts, and all they could get was metric, so they put metric in. So these are 10mm at the moment. As ever, if I come across the right ones, I'll swap them out. But I'm not just going to change them for aesthetic purposes because, oh, it's not that kind of bike, is it? The other one, I'm probably going to move away a little bit here. Probably getting a really good view of elbow and upper arm. And then we've got the proper sized nuts on the drain plugs, because I renewed the drain plugs. They were knackered, the ones that came on the bike, so I got the proper ones. So we've got 3/16 Whitworth spanner. Remove the nut and the washer. Take the stay out of the way, and you can see that's the drain plug. Oh, I must have slackened it. So we'll get something to decant the oil into, and decant the oil into. I find a olive spread margarine tub, or butter tub, or whatever you want to call it, works really well. You don't have to use one of these, but remember, with anything scientific, if you don't repeat the method, you can't expect to replicate the results. So we'll let that drain out, and I compress the forks a bit from up there. Just to help it. Pretty grotty. I can't remember how many years ago it is that I did these forks. I think it's 2 years since I last did the forks, and you think, well, that's not very long, but the bike's been standing quite a lot. It's been outside and all sorts. So yeah, it's pretty grotty, pretty black. So I'm going to let that drain off. I'll bring you back when we're ready to put some fresh oil in. Right, the sharp-eyed amongst you will notice that this area and the tyre is looking a lot cleaner. I don't know how it happened, but somehow there was oil all over the ramp. And, you know, I did say that I would spill oil everywhere, and I did. I don't know how I did it, but I did. The oil was dripping quite happily from the fork leg into the tub. The tub was sitting on top of the wheel clamp, and when I removed the tub away, there was oil all pooled down here. So yeah, no hole in the tub, so anybody's guess. Anyway, I've cleaned it all up, and we are back to where we were. I fitted the drain plug back in. You can't get on there with a ring spanner because of the proximity of the bottom of the fork leg there, so just give it a nip with an open-ended spanner. 3/16 Whitworth, as I think I said before. Don't go bananas because it's only a 2BA thread, and it will snap. There's a fibre washer interposed between the plug and the fork leg to keep the oil in. So the next thing to do then is to drop the thing down and put some oil in. Well, actually, we could put the mudguard stay back on, couldn't we? So I'll put the mudguard stay back on. Three nuts and bolts, and not particularly technical, so you don't really need to see that. I'll do that, and then we'll drop the thing down, put the oil in. Right, we need to put the oil into the fork leg then, and we need 1/8 of a pint, 71 cc's. SVI 20 is what we're using. I think it was 10 weight that came out. I'm going to put a slightly heavier grade of oil in, see how it goes, and let's give it a go. Oh, strange, no blade in the knife. Why is that? because it's fallen out. That's why. I'll just take the foil out. And I'm going to have 70 cc's of this stuff. Or just over. There we go. Not a lot, just enough. It's quite cold in here, but you can see there's a bit of viscosity to that, so that should hopefully take a bit of the bounce out of the ride. But as you can see, there's not a lot of oil in these forks. It's mainly a hydraulic bump stop rather than a damping fluid, but yeah, it should help a little bit, shouldn't it? Right, let me swivel you around back to the bike. Right, let's give it a go. We'll go very, very slowly because the potential for calamity is high, and I don't want to get it everywhere. So this is literally going to be a bit of a slow process. If it starts taking forever, I will switch you off. You know what you're saying, that watching my videos is like watching oil drain. That's going down reasonably well, actually. A few bubbles and globes as it drives the oil, drives the air out rather. Doesn't drive the oil out. I'm trying to put the oil in. Oh, that's a big air bubble. Thought it was going to come gushing out, but it didn't. Close call though. Oh, you've overdone it, Dean. You've overdone it. That's what happens. We lost a couple of drops to the ramp there. Don't try to take too big a bite, I think is the life lesson there. Wiggling the spring around a little bit to try and encourage the oil to go down the side of it. I'll give you a view of this actually before I put the cap back on. I realise that you've only really seen it from the distance that you're at. Okay. I don't know how much we lost over the side, but not enough to worry about, I don't think. Less than a cc, I would say. So I think we're good. We'll just have a bit of a clean up, and then I'll get you in a position where you can see the top of the fork plate, so you can actually see the business end if you like. And just give it a bit of a wipe up. Lubricated the outside of the clutch cable, which is probably not doing it right, is it really? Right, we're in a good place. Let me move you. Stand by for some handheld action. Unmagnetise you from the top of the vise, which is where you are currently. There you go. So you can see there the top of the spring rod. I'll give it a bit of a wiggle with my finger. That's the top of the spring rod. You can't really see down there because it's a bit dark, but there's a flat diameter at the base of the spring rod, which bears against the underside of the cap there, and that's what the spring compresses against. So it's anchored at the bottom end of the forks. There's a flat down there. I don't think you can make that out with the lighting, and that flat bears against that flat on the cap. So that's your spring compression. And as you can see the remnants of the oil. It has all gone down now. So we've got some suspension fluid in our fork leg. So let me get you back on the vise, so you can see, and we will put the fork cap, the spring rod nut back on, and the little shiny chrome cover thing that goes in there. There you go. It's a bit better. Making sure that the spring rod actually will emerge. There we go. Just compress the forks a little bit. It's popped up through the middle. Swap the socket over. We've got serrated washer. Make sure we put that in the right way. The nut. Make sure that the socket isn't binding in the bore there, and we are actually getting some torque. Got a shiny cap back in there. Not really working very well because we've still got the scissor lift underneath the bike, so we really need to get it on its wheels and give the forks a good bounce up and down. But I need to do the other side first, so I will do that. No point in repeating the same piece of video over again. I'll get the other one done, and we'll move on to the next job. Okay, finishing up now really. I'm going to do some greasing, so I'm going to grease the, put a bit of grease on here on the rear brake spring rod here, and I'm going to go around the oil can. I'll put a bit of grease on this end of the brake rod. I'll oil the brake pivot here. We'll use the grease gun on the clutch mechanism, we'll use the grease gun on the swinging arm pivots, and then we'll apply a bit of grease to the front brake cable and pivot. I will clean and lubricate the chain, but we'll do that off camera, I think, because otherwise the video is going to be, it'll never end. That's about it, really, for just giving the bike a bit of love, a little bit of a servicing. One thing I do not do, there's grease nipples on the brake cams, and I never apply the grease gun to those. What I'll do is, every couple of years I will just take them apart and apply some grease to the brake cams, the pivots, because I've taken quite a few of these bikes to pieces now, and I've never come across one that I've taken to pieces that's not been given recent attention, at least, where the brake linings weren't contaminated with grease. And I think if you sort of adhered to the servicing schedule and you gave it a couple of pumps every so many miles, eventually that grease it doesn't go anywhere. It's not as though it gets consumed, and it ends up just overwhelming the brake cam pivot, and it just works its way into the brake drum itself. And I've had to degrease quite a number of brake drums, and the linings are obviously scrap at that point, but not good, not something I do, and particularly these days when you've got sealed bearings as well in the wheels. I never inject, I never use grease on the wheel bearings. I just use a sealed bearing. And I know a lot of people think they don't like sealed bearings because they might not have enough grease in them, but if you buy quality ones, you won't have a problem. And this is just me applying now the grease gun to the swing arm pivot. Just give it a couple of goes with the grease gun. This is my ancient but venerable, it's a Calumet grease gun. I imagine that it is era appropriate for the bike. I think it is a 1960s one, but works perfectly. It's just the job. So that's those little jobs done. I'll get the oil can out. You don't really need to see. I'm going to oil the brake pivot here, and we'll go around the other side, and we'll finish off doing the front brake cable. Just put a little bit of grease on that, more to stop corrosion than anything else, really. And I think we'll finish up with the tyre pressures, and you can probably hear the rain hammering off the roof of the workshop. I think our plans or our hopes to ride the bike are going to be dashed for this video. It's absolutely lashing down out there, so there's absolutely no point really taking it out. We've got any grease in there? No, we'll put a bit of grease on the footrest pivots as well, and then we'll close out the video. Right, one more job left to do, and that is just to put a bit of wind in the tyres. So we'll do that now, if I can get to them with this thing. There we go. Do the front one. Let's see if I can move you something. Okay, you should be able to see from there, I think. bit of a walk around, I think. We'll have a bit of a walk round, I think, and then we'll go over to the bench and we'll talk about all the bits and pieces that we've done. Right, so handheld. Let's come round to this side of the bike. We've greased the brake lever down there and the clevis. A little bit of grease on the threads of the adjuster just to make sure we don't get any corrosion. You might think the paintwork's looking a bit cleaner. I've been over it with the silicone bike shine. Bit of a first for me, has to be said. But you know, just to give the paintwork a bit of protection over the winter months, and it has brought it up quite nicely, considering it's pretty old and not in the best condition. We greased the clutch mechanism. I've put the cover back on now. That's been done. Brake pivot and the brake rod. We oiled the brake pivot with the oil can, put a bit of grease on the brake rod there. I decided to oil the footrest hinges so they're nice and free, and of course we did the brake rod down here, bit of grease on there, and I've cleaned and lubricated the drive chain, and I lubricated it with the chain wax, which is my favourite product to use on a chain. I have to say the chain cleaner, very good. Quick squirt and a wipe with the chain cleaner, and yeah, the chain was nice and clean. So that's freshly lubricated now. If we go around the other side, of course we did the swinging arm pivot with the grease gun. Let me just get you around here. Again, paintwork looking quite nice, really, with the silicone bike shine, or at least as good as it can look for old paint. Did the speedometer gearbox with the grease gun. A couple of pumps on there. Same with the swinging arm pivot. Of course, we did the gearbox oil, and we did the we renewed the fork oil. So you know, just keep it running over the winter months. If we do take it out, we know that it's going to be fine, and also you know, when it's just stood doing nothing, we know that it's going to be protected. Right, some of the bits and pieces that we've used then. Basic tooling, sockets, spanners. That big socket for the top of the for the nut on the top of the forks, 1.1 inch. I think I said an inch, didn't I? Giving you a bum steer there, guys. 1.1 inch. 3/16 width for the nut for the spring, top of the spring rod. For whatever reason, my bike has got 10mm nuts and bolts holding the mudguard stay, and then 3/16 width is your drain plug. Faithful old Tacalamic grease gun. Not sure what grease is in there. It's been in there a while. Whatever I put in there last time I filled it, could have been Comma, could have been, I don't know, any number of makes. And we've used Lucas red and tacky grease on various bits and pieces, and the oil can is filled with Rock Oil Classic. This is what we've used in the gearbox. We're not sponsored by Rock Oil. There's no financial incentive for me to promote their products, other than they did send me some free stuff, and I do like their products. I've used them for years. This paid for with my own money, so that was the gearbox. This paid for with my own money. That was the suspension fluid, the SVI 20. So we'll see how we get on with that out on the road. I think that's going to be an improvement. Chain wax, probably my favourite product that they do. I've used this for years on all of my bikes because it doesn't go everywhere, it doesn't get flung off, it just stays where you put it, and it seems to do a good job. So that's the Rock Oil chain wax, paid for with my own money. And then freebies, dirt blaster. When I spill oil all over the tyres, this stuff got it off, and it is a good general purpose cleaner, so I quite like that, and it smells good as well. Chain clean, first time I've used it, I was impressed with it. That was a freebie, and yeah, not like me at all cleaning things. The silicone bike shine, that was also a freebie, so there you go. That's what we used to service the bike, and all done in accordance with Mr. Haycraft and his excellent book of the BSA Bantam. Yeah, can't recommend that book highly enough if you are looking for a general sort of user manual stroke servicing manual. Very good. Plenty of them around. You'll find one second hand, and put it on your shelf if you've got a Bantam, if you haven't got one already. Right guys, I think that is this one done. Thanks very much indeed for watching. I do hugely appreciate it, and I hope that you've enjoyed seeing the D7 get a little bit of love, a little bit of attention, and hopefully making it ready for any runs we might do over the colder months. And also, you know, if it's just sitting in here, at least we know all those jobs are done, and it should be fine. If you've got a classic bike, get out there and give it some love. If you love it, it will love you, and I think, you know, it just helps you to get to know the bike a little bit better, and the stitching time and all that, you know, hopefully it will save you, you know, save you spending too much money on it if you keep things how they're supposed to be. Next time around, not entirely sure what we'll be doing. I do have another job to do on the D7. I'd like to fit a side stand. I have a side stand for it, and it isn't one of these generic aftermarket things that look as though they're made out of an old deck chair. It is a proper side stand for another bike, which I'm going to adapt hopefully to fit this bike. So it's going to be a bit of milling and a bit of messing around, but hopefully that will be a good job. And I do like to have a side stand as a you know, just as a backup for the main stand. So we'll get around to doing that at some point, and we need to get back onto the aerial Bantam as well. Have a look at the crankshaft. Tweedy was due to arrive here yesterday. We seem to be beset with disaster at the moment. He's had the flu, I've had the flu, and then yesterday, unfortunately, he broke down in his car. Gearbox trouble. Now, you'll recall a little while ago when Tweedy and I were out driving around picking up the aerial engines, I had gearbox trouble. Now he's got gearbox trouble. So yeah, it seems to be a bit of a thing at the moment. I'll let him tell you all about it. No doubt he'll give you all the details in his next video. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed. We are, you know, moving up in number. I'd love to get to 2,000 if you could help me out. So if you're not subscribed already, please do hit the button. But for those of you who have subscribed and keep coming back time after time, thanks very much indeed, and I will see you soon. So mind how you go. See you on the next video. Bye for now.